Welcome back everybody to the Storytime Network where we are playing some more D&D. And hopefully our holiday continues. I am of course your perpetually exhausted Brit Mill, and I'm joined by my fellow players Jack. Jack,
Yep, hi.
introducing you.
Hello there.
Again.
Oh, hi.
And Dylan.
Hello there.
And we are of course joined by our lovely GM Kaido.
I bought paint today. I had to get it mixed because I wanted a specific shade. Cost like 10 quid more. Anyway, D&D. So, last we left off with our four lovely heroes? I'd say you guys are at this point.
Is are they?
I mean, no one's ever born into being a hero. Anyway, speaking of Daron, our Genasi rogue, Seamus, our half-elf bard, Felix, the Eladrin painter, and Aldane, the half-elf paladin. You four touched down in the Blue Sands Resort, and as you were getting acclimated with everything, you actually continue still. I mean, it makes sense because he's the owner of the country and also the resort. You continue to meet Torrance, the water genasi, who has the capital city named after him, of Pahala. You guys were given your room keys and left your things there. Felix had to deal with probably the worst battle of his life versus a Karen. To be fair though, a grown man playing with children can be a bit sus. But hey, as you guys all split off to do your various things of merriment for the day, with Daron just chilling, which is completely valid. Daron was actually good enough to notice the currently missing member of the Paholan government, Fortune, who is supposed to be in charge of the customs and foreign imports. Yeah, you happened to meet her as she was sneaking around, and she gave you a job offer to basically just watch and keep out for any people who might find her while she's doing her thing. You, of course, said yes, which, fair, free money, you only have to exist.
It's like getting paid just to sit around and drink, and that's Dyra's whole game plan.
One of my colleagues at work as well. Anyway,
Shade.
I fucking hate her, but that's for another time. Seamus actually struck lucky, getting 7 out of 8 of these various women playing volleyball on the beach to take an interest in his music and stories. And that was pretty cool. Felix decided to go surfing and met a lovely, very friendly, and definitely not familiar black turtle surfing trainer by the name of Ra, who
Right, that's what happened.
who helped you actually pick up surfing fairly simply. You did very well with your checks. And yeah, that was very good. Meanwhile, Aldane was walking around with Oriana on the beach and got accosted by a surfer, like a beach bully minotaur, who was swiftly dealt with by a prompt, excellent tossing of a coconut by our lovely rogue, who managed to hit him so hard, a horn was broken. And of course, Oriana gave a very good tongue lashing. And yeah, that was pretty much it for the first bit. During this time as well, you were all met by Torrent, who gave you all tokens to basically let you enter a party he was planning to host. With tokens in tow, you all went and all again split off to do various tasks. Seamus was basically bullied into overcharging the bouncer to let him on stage.
Yep.
But that being said, Seamus did very well, and you are actually going to get a bonus.
Yeah.
Along with the security detail you all were asked to do. So basically, Darren was playing both sides and coming out on top on both sides.
I'd love it. I'd love it when a plan comes together.
Felix went inside the restaurant area and was about to enjoy a lovely game of mahjong with Ra's brother Shun. And Aldane was out on the dance floor with Oriana. Unfortunately, things started to go sour as a two-pronged attack dealing with the half-elf paladin and the Eladrin painter, as Aldane had to deal with two minotaurs who decided to deal with him, one of them being the minotaur Daron knocked the fuck out. And yeah, thankfully, Torrance helped you out. However, he got a bit overzealous and definitely wasn't the GM forgetting how powerful Guiding Bolt actually is when it hits. As the Minotaur was just fucking murdered. To be fair though, Torrent promptly revived the Minotaur with Revivify. So, not all was lost.
Didn't he do it via suppository?
Yeah, he shoved the diamond up his anus. Sentence I never thought I would say more than once, but here we go. And Felix was about to be forced into a Kaiji level battle as the satyr, who lost his pinky finger and his right hand already due to a game of Mahjong, basically hired goons to lock the doors and try again. But Ration beat the shit out of him, because it was Ration.
What a shock.
And yeah, that was fun. Daron literally just, again, sat and chilled, getting paid by Fortune and Torrent. I'll give you guys the payments after the recap, obviously. And yeah, Seamus did some very good tunes and set the scene nicely for the battles that were going on.
I also got to use Enemies Abound for the first time. That was actually fucking great.
It's incredible. It's even nastier if you can do it on the big bad, as he just kills his minion. But anyway, that was the recap. So now you guys have awoken at the resort in your rooms. I'll leave it up to your discretion what you did before the end of the night, but it was, you probably would have been asked to go back to your rooms after the party was dealt with, just because of the fight that happened. And the fact that, like, a big part of the dance floor was bloodied by the dead Minotaur. And also a thrown bottle? Who knows what happened with that?
It'll be a mystery until the end of time, honestly.
But yes, so you're all awake. Daron, because you're sharing with Oriana, you would notice that Oriana is a bit melancholic as she prepares to get ready. I don't know what the rest of you guys like. Maybe some of you were hammered, maybe you drank. I'll leave it up to you. Also, one thing I forgot to mention, you didn't see Guy throughout pretty much the entire day. However, he was back in his bed when, who did I say was Guy sleeping with?
Seamus, I think.
Felix.
Yes, Seamus. Yeah, by the time you got back, Seamus, Guy was already in his bed.
Oh, okay. Dang.
So we will cut to Daron, as when you wake up, you see Oriana getting dressed, and she says, "Oh, hey Daron, how was your night?"
I was drinking at the party. Everything okay?
I guess I was there when the. Yeah, she's visibly uncomfortable by the events of last night, as she says. I was there when the Minotaurs decided to ruin the party, and I saw Torrent kill one of them by accident. Mm.
Yeah, that was nasty business.
I've never. I'm gonna change the music as we do this because it's a bit too chill for something like this.
Yep.
God, ads, piss off. No, this is still just jaunty. I wish these tracks were a bit more specific, but no, it's fine. Here we go. As yes, she just goes on to say, yeah, it's the first time I'd ever seen anyone die in front of me.
It's never it's never easy. And the four of us we've been dealing with it, but never gets easier.
What was it? How do you feel every time you take a life?
The first time, well, I did it because I had no choice. And ever since then, I've always said that. Never had another choice. Always me or them. Doesn't make it easier. And there'll be nights where I will dream about what it looked like, where I see their faces, the life leaving. But sometimes that is what you have to do.
She just lowers her head. I imagine that's probably. I tried to ask my father the same question, and he dodged it every time I've asked. He says people like me shouldn't need to deal with that kind of life and those thoughts, but
I mean, there's something to be said about that, where me and Aldean, your father, we fight so that others don't have to. Well, Aldean and your father.
she nods. Apparently, when I spoke to Rua about it as well, his dad said people in positions of power or have power should think every time they use it to, you know, always be mindful of what you do when you do fights.
Yeah, Torrance is a prime example of what happens when you don't think about the use of power.
Mm. I mean, he seemed. I mean, I saw his face when he blasted the Minotaur, and he did look very uh, mournful and upset. I think it's just the problem with the drink, I guess.
That's the thing, right? That's not an excuse.
Oh, I wasn't excusing him, it's just, you know.
I don't know. The first time I had to kill someone, I was trying to stop them from hurting me. Another urgent. And I was inconsolable for days. When my mentor found me, I was huddled over the body, covered in the blood. And it was not. I still remember that day sometimes, and it hurts. When we get back to Centralis, maybe you should go see one of the clerics or the priests. Talk to them about it.
Should-
I'm
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
not some. I have a very broken mind, as the last few weeks have kind of demonstrated. But
She just slowly nods. Fair enough. It's definitely given me something to think about, especially since I've been slowly learning how to use magic, and it's definitely made me more mindful if I decide to pursue it anymore. Thank you, Dayron. I appreciate it.
as always, Orion,
Meanwhile,
you should
oh, sorry. Go ahead.
ask Aldean what it's like. He
I-
might have a better answer than.
I kind of asked him last night, and I don't know. I ended up walking off, and I feel bad.
I mean, to be fair, you hadn't had a night's sleep on.
Hmm.
It was all fresh and raw. You're not going to be in the right state all day. No one.
Yeah. I'm gonna talk to him about it at some point. I think right now I just kind of want to try and relax on this holiday run.
I feel that.
Meanwhile, Felix, when you awaken, you feel something. Just gonna check actually. Let me see what role this would be. Give me a. Give me a intelligence check. Just straight intelligence. Yeah.
22.
Oh, nice. You actually get a really good. The DC was fairly high-ish, 17, so good. So when you awaken, you feel a tremor in the earth, and you feel like you hear a voice, as it almost talks to you directly through your mind. You don't. You can't understand the voice, but you definitely can tell they're speaking words. And with that check, you know that you've heard the language being used before. It reminds you of primordial.
That's probably the last remnants of this relaxing holiday, isn't it?
And I'd say if you want to, with that check, you remember enough of the words that you could write it down and give it to someone who knows the language.
Okay, I will do that.
However, because Aldane was in your room with you, he doesn't seem to react to this as if he didn't.
To
get
be
the
fair,
same
by the time
feeling.
I'm waking up, Aldane's probably still asleep.
Maybe, I mean, you have trance anyway, so yeah. This is during late at night as well.
Yeah.
Or early morning? Time is weird with elves and trance. Speaking as someone who's played elves a lot.
Mm.
You do feel a direction though where it came from. Almost as if the thing was beckoning you. And you feel it in the direction of where there's more unexplored territory of the island.
Mm. One of these days. Okay. Mystical voice, do you think this can wait until everybody else wakes up?
After a pause, you don't get a response.
I'll take that as a yes. If it was really important, they'd keep pestering me.
I mean, sure, okay.
If the island burns down because of a few-hour delay, I doubt there was much we could have done to stop it anyway.
There's so much you could have done, Felix. Yeah. Other than that, everyone eventually wakes up without any issues. I really should have done the Felix thing first because it was technically the first thing in order, but
It's
who
fine.
gives a shit? So yeah, I imagine you would all reconvene.
Mm-hmm.
You do actually see, as you would all probably like meet at the entrance of the hotel, you do actually see Torrent speaking with a few people who are wearing very like lavish clothing. Like you can definitely tell these people are nobles.
Okay, so, guys, bad news. Holiday might be cut short.
Of course it is. What's up?
I got a mental message saying this, and seeing as I had time, I made enough copies for everybody.
So, Daron, because you understand Primordial, you immediately get a good idea of what this means. It basically says those who have been made champion by the Four Winds meet me north of the place you call the Blue Sands Resort.
Looks like we're going north, boys.
Yay.
Oh boy.
Meanwhile, in the
very
background,
good.
you're just hearing like this, like Torrent just saying, "Are you tripping, bruv? I made sure to definitely pay that family. I can't even remember the name, but I definitely made sure to pay that family the money and recompense for what I did. And I even had to pay out my own pocket to shove a gem up his ass to revive him, bruv.
Oh, Jesus.
And you saying I didn't do enough? Fuck that shit, bruv.
I think we should go before we get dragged into this. I also caused a lot of trouble.
And bruv, what's this about a satyr that
Go,
infiltrated
go,
my
go.
restaurant? And what's this about a black turtle beating up a satyr, bruv? And yet, do you go immediately then? Do you all want to?
Yeah.
I just want to
Yeah.
avoid
Wanna
being
do-
questioned about that.
Oh, can I? How much did I get paid for the performance, by the way?
Well, you need to speak to Torrent about that, don't you?
Shit.
We can wait to get paid.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, even if you get paid, if you die on the way up, then does it really matter? I mean, that's if you die. Who knows? Only I say who knows. Only I know. Only I know what goes on in my head.
Only you know if you're planning to TPK us.
I wouldn't TPK you like this. I'd make it much more climactic.
Oh, we all know you would TPK us to the steel of yakety sax.
No, I wouldn't. I feel like I'd do better than that. I'm not a hack.
No, it would be Rickrolling, obviously, or chocolate.
No, I'd just completely remove any hope you have as you struggle to reclaim the last bits of life. As you basically get completely dominated and curb stomped. Anyway. So, lovely players. I'm guessing you all get ready in your... Like, how do you want to get ready? Like, do you wear your proper clothes and, like, your armor and everything?
Yes.
I think it's probably for the best if we gear up. We don't know what we're running into.
Dressed to the nines in this heat. Oh, give me a sec.
Aldean,
Yes.
may I have isolation?
Yes. Here you are.
I nod. Placed isolation on my belt.
So the moment you touch it again, you feel a slight twinge. It feels warmer, in a sense, like like a more positive feeling.
I've missed you too, buddy. I've missed you too.
And yeah, as you leave, I will say this is mostly just theatre of the mind, because of what I plan to do. But don't worry. Like,
Just know that if this is not a good enough reason to interrupt the holiday, Felix is going summer.
he's gonna be furious. He's going Super Saiyan. So, as you like try and head northward of the resorts, you do see like a tree line of like more dense trees and like areas that clearly look like people don't live in them. I'm just going to change the music as you go into exploration mode. So as you go further inward, the terrain almost looks completely different. Like as you go more further in, like from what you could see of the boat as like a more bigger picture of the island, you did see mountains further in the north, but from the angle you were looking at, it was hard to notice like just how big some of these mountains are. Thankfully, though, the area you're walking along is quite flat terrain, but there's a lot of trees that you have to cut through. And I'd say if you want to like look ahead, just in case there's anything out, to not surprise you, give me perception checks. Darren, of course, has advantage because they've lost level 3 exhaustion. And also the Eyes of the Eagle. Wow, you guys are on... Do you want this again? Do you want the 7 or do you want the 7?
I'll take the 7.
Wow, you
Oh,
guys are
boy.
on fucking fire, like Seamus and Felix.
Oh my god.
So Aldain and Dayron, the two, you both just really struggle to like. You're too busy having to like cut trees and like tree line and like bushes and stuff to get through, while the other two, who can enjoy chilling out at the back, I guess, you can see ahead quite well, and you notice like various like birds you've never seen before, and like lizards and even a couple of monkeys. And it's honestly very beautiful, all the wildlife.
And if any of you choose to hear this, Felix is grumbling like, I could have been painting this instead of wandering through it.
And yeah, it's all very nice, and you manage to actually like see a lot of creatures even further ahead that like. Actually, with your check, both of you, you would notice you saw a creature that was orange with black stripes along the body, like off the beaten path, but seemingly, because both mained eyes towards it, it appeared to have backed off. So you avoid being ambushed by tigers.
Hooray!
Nice job. But as you walk along, Felix.
We avoided the ambush. We didn't avoid being attacked wholesale by them.
Yeah, I mean, hey, they could still attack you. It's just, well. Anyway, as you walk along, all of you actually feel a tremor in the earth. The same one you felt earlier on, Felix.
We should probably be
It's-
concerned about this. This is the second
It's
time.
like you feel the
Oh,
shake.
no.
You don't stumble, and you don't like struggle to keep your feet,
Mhm.
but you can definitely feel like the earth is slightly shaking. And it stops after like probably like 5 seconds of this. And you all hear a beckoning voice, but only Daron understands because this is again in Primordial. As you hear a deep, booming voice just say, I am glad you could hear my words. Come further into the forest, and you shall understand why you are being beckoned so.
This
Oh, that's not ominous at all.
this better be good, ominous voice.
I'm guessing you share with the class Daron what you heard?
How funny would it be if I just said no?
It's like, no, sorry, I didn't understand that one. That's some super ancient primordial. I think he called Felix's mum fat. But
Hey,
yes,
Felix,
you-
I think this is an insult to you. He said you look like your dad.
Oh no.
Do you actually say that?
Do you? I'll respect.
No, no.
I'll full respect if you did. Well, hey, now you don't get inspiration. No, you wouldn't have done it anyway. But anyway, so as you walk along, this takes like, you don't know how long you're walking, but it feels like at least a couple of hours. Thankfully, though, the canopy of the trees keeps you from needing to feel dehydrated and like overheated, especially you, Aldane, wearing heavy armor.
Hmm.
But eventually you do find your way, and you notice in the distance. You don't need to make perception checks for this because this is very obvious. You see a very beautiful clear spring in like this clearing that you can see. It appears to be connected to like a big, like, what's the word? Like a big, like, mountain that you didn't notice until like you got up close. That seems to make a waterfall come down into the spring, and the water itself is beautifully clear. Like you've probably never seen water like this see-through before, especially in like a completely uninhabited place. And it's just nice and still and peaceful. You do hear the sounds of like creatures in the distance, but they don't seem to be close. As if people are deliberately giving this like a bit of a wide berth.
Mr. Mystical Voice, where are you? Well, nothing to be done. Let's go back.
I call it a primordial. Where are you?
Neither of you get a response from either of those.
I think we've been punked.
I mean, there's still deeper into the forest. You weren't told how deep you needed to go.
Go balls deep.
Fucking hell.
What, you never seen Dodgeball?
Anyway. So yeah, do you decide to leave, or do you want to head further in?
We should probably go further in.
Fine.
So as you walk around the lake, the small oasis of sorts, you go past it, and as you continue deeper in, actually once you like move around it, you do actually feel a tremor again, all of you. This time it's stronger than before, as you do kind of have to like brace yourselves to like not stumble.
Mm.
And you do hear the voice sounding louder as it just says, "Good. Proceed further into the forest, and you shall be closer to what you have been waiting to see."
Can I roll an insight?
Yeah, go for it. I'd say only you're allowed to because you can actually understand the language,
Yeah.
so you can understand the nuances of the tone. So, from what
Hell
you
yeah.
can tell, this voice is you can definitely tell the language they're using specifically is like almost some sort of old version of Primordial. Oh, who left? Nope, there we go. So yeah, the Primordial being used is almost like a really old dialect. So it takes you a bit to like parse what's being said and then translate it as best as you can.
Mhm.
And given obviously the fact that they can communicate this far and like they're causing the earth to tremor, this seems like someone that definitely like feels quite confident about themselves as well, almost as if they're aware of how strong they are. I will say isolation isn't really reacting to this other than what you normally expect from it.
Like it's not reacting?
I mean, it's almost just like, yeah, I'm here. Like, it's not any different to what it normally would be. It's not like when you saw Rua's grandfather and it felt fear from just a flashback.
Gotcha. I relay this to the rest of the group.
Well, sooner we get this figured out, sooner we can get back to the beach.
I mean, I want to get paid, so.
So as you go further in, and as you start to get further into the forest, you're actually having to like climb a little bit as you are coming across like hills and like slight elevated platforms of rock, and you're starting to get a bit above the tree line until eventually I'm gonna have to ask for athletics from you all as you attempt to climb
Oh
a
no.
very steep cliff face that none of you guys can actually go around unless you were to take ages to get around.
How high up is the ledge that we're trying to get to?
It's not honestly not too high. Like it's probably like 60 feet high.
Damn.
I know that's. I say not too high. I mean because of like how D&D is like laid out.
I was more asking for, if I fail, can I just Misty Step up there?
Well, if you look around, you do actually see some slight platforms that, if you wanted to Misty Step, you could get halfway up. But you'd still have to climb the other half.
I'd rather get halfway up and then Misty Step.
Fair.
So
enough.
what you're saying is we have to do an athletics check.
Yes.
I'm gonna climb 40 feet up and then levitate the rest of the way.
Oh, Chad move. Nice. I respect that. That's very cool.
Yeah, that's what I feared.
So, Felix, Oh, okay.
Ah,
Okay. So the DC was much more lenient for Daron because they basically skipped a big, like, a good chunk of the journey. Like, they skipped an entire third. And there were platforms that you can get on. Aldane, for you, you had to do climbing training as part of being a knight. Just on the off chance you ever have to go through buildings and such. Seamus, being from Tennoyama, you're no stranger to, like, mountains and stuff. And as part of, like, Tennoyama's training, anyway, that people would have, you know, children, climbing would be a thing, so you have some skill of climbing up. And Aeron being part of the big city, you're no stranger as well to, like, building climbing and, like, stuff like that. Felix, however, you struggle to get, like, to the first half of the actual climbing. You don't even, like, get to fall.
Can I make another one?
Yeah, I'll allow you to find a different area to try and gain purchase. Go for it.
That one. Oh.
I saw one and was ready to spit my drink out. I mean, the nat one would have been a 0, so Felix would have probably, like, broke a nail or something. I don't know.
If I'd nat one,
Oh,
Felix
and
would have
broken
just
his
said,
neck.
"Screw it, I'll wait here for you guys."
So you climb up, you get halfway there, but it took a lot of exertion to get up. Thankfully, you have Misty Step, so you can make the other way up, the halfway up.
Yep.
So you roll.
I can just imagine Felix struggling to the halfway point and being like, "Fuck this," and just Misty Step.
Exactly.
Yeah, but down. Just Misty Steps back down. I'm not going with you guys. I'm going home. So yeah, as you guys all make your way up, you do feel a tremor again. This time it's enough that I'm going to have to ask you to make strength saving throws. Wait, is it? No, before you make the roll, I need to check.
Please don't be a strength saving throw.
Oh no, give me no. Wait, no, it's a different save. So this
Isn't it a dex? Isn't it a dex save?
There's two different saves for this thing, and I was gonna make you do a con save, but that's for a different thing. Yeah, give me a dex save as you
Okay,
struggle
good.
not to also fall off the edge from how hard this is shaking.
The hell?
oh boy. God damn it.
Okay, and Felix.
Eh.
So you all struggle. Thankfully, Seamus, anticipating a bigger struggle, managed to notify you guys just enough that you don't fall off the edge and hit 60 foot on the floor. But everyone but Seamus is, like, prone because you guys are struggling to keep your ground. And you hear the voice, this time in common, as it just says, "Good. I'm glad to know that you were chosen for a reason. Your resourcefulness has been noted."
I'm going to shove a lightning bolt and then a firebolt right up his ass.
I'll help you.
I do not appreciate such words of violence. Do keep in mind I'm resistant to electricity anyway.
I don't appreciate my holiday being interrupted.
I apologize for ruining this. However, you should be sufficiently rewarded, at least in information. I ask
So
that
it's a we scratch your back, you scratch ours kind of scenario here.
Perhaps it depends on how rewarded you feel from this discussion. Anyway, I would ask that you all hold on to something. About now.
I'll grab onto like a tree or a
You
rock or whatever is close by.
You do find some, like, small protrusions of, like, stone that you can hold on to.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, a couple of, like, small trees that are formed on the platform that you're on. And it's a good thing you did, because you start to see the tree line seems to be falling? And then you realize, no, the clouds are getting closer. And then you realize, wait, we're lifted off the the platform you're on's been lifted off the ground.
Fuck.
And you actually notice, like, if you look over the edge, the platform looks like there's nothing, like, lifting it up, as if it's floating off the ground. And then you see the whole island seemingly shake. And one of the big mountains you see in the distance... Give me a perception check as you look towards the big mountain range.
Fuck.
Seamus is afraid of heights.
Yeah, I'm
Yay.
shook.
Do I get advantage?
Yes.
I know. Thank you.
So Aldane and Daron, you notice. Well, no, you don't. You notice it, and then it begs the question: why do these mountains, like those two bits of the mountain over there, are those eyes on that mountain?
Fuck.
And then you notice as like a horizontal line goes across, forming what looks like a mouth. As you see this, I'm going to post it in the general chat.
I don't like the influence Cradle has had on you.
Big creature, 1.26 megabytes. Fair enough.
Isn't? I feel like this is going to be like a rock biter or some shit.
I mean, I say big creature, it's considered gargantuan.
I don't like the influence Cradle has had on you.
I really don't either.
So you see this gigantic tortoise that seemingly has like bits of mountain and trees on its back. And like there's dirt coming out of its mouth, falling out, and bits of sand as well. And one of its eyes looks like you guys, like Aldane is just slightly bigger than one of its eyes. And it looks down at you and just says, apologies for the sudden disturbance. However, I'm glad you could make it.
Are you Genbu?
No. However, Genbu is my father. How familiar are you with a Zaratan? And anyone who has proficiency, and only proficiency in Arcana, can make this check.
Hey, finally, that's coming in handy again.
Hey, I say you both clubbed together to piece the information, especially considering that you guys are from the country that, like, kind of reveres the Genbu and the other three creatures. So a Zaratan is basically, like, as you can see, a gigantic, like, hulking reptile of a mountain, pretty much, given form. They are known as Elder Elementals. Which are basically like pieces of like nature given life. The
What's
mere
funny about this is that me and Felix were the ones talking shit.
their mere existence could potentially cause like a natural disaster. Like if one of these Azaratan was to be annoyed and let loose on like an island, it very likely would probably sink to the bottom of the ocean.
Great.
That's lovely.
I don't
And the
regret my
Zaratan-
words.
And the Zaratan just says, yes. And I know you, Felixus Ferris, my apologies. You were indeed chosen by the Genbu. In fact, all of you are considered champions of Gwael, I believe the name is.
Yep.
You are lucky to be made champions. You, Genasi, Daron, I believe you're called, correct?
Yes?
If you were not being made chosen as a champion, that weapon you wield, named Isolation, would no doubt have corrupted you already by now.
Oh, joy.
Those who hold pieces of those weapons and are not made champions would indeed be turned into what they were. Apologies, my grasp on the common tongue is not great. Effectively, being a champion means you will not turn into what you've already fought. You will not become like what the victim of that sword has become.
So then, we have some sort of divine protection?
Effectively so, yes. This means,
Huh.
however, anyone else who has been unfortunate to claim one of these weapons without the protection could be at risk.
Thinks back to the Slayer's take.
I know indeed of a few other pieces that have been actually claimed,
Uh-oh.
where they have been made weapon form. A group of mercenaries in Beauvetements have currently claimed the weapon there. And Black Rain is the other place that has currently claimed that piece of the Dracolich. I do not know of the exact location of these places, as I am not bound to their specific countries. I am effectively a guardian of the resort, and my domain also covers the rest of the country known as Pahola, which means I know a rough location of that piece of the Dracolich. And he stomps the ground, and the earth shakes, but thankfully you're on a floating platform, so it doesn't affect you guys. But in front
Nice.
of you, you basically see an inscription on the floor of a map. Of the continent, in fact.
That's pretty neat.
The continent Pahola is on, I assume.
Well, the continent of Tyrol, like everything, you
Ah,
see
okay.
all of it, like the world map.
Okay.
To the southwest of Pahola, past the settlements known as Sandtusk, was the domain of a great king. Well, I say great, a tyrant.
Aren't they all?
I cannot speak for other country leaders, as I am not interested in such a thing. However, this ruler of the country we are on, back in ancient times, was known to forcefully subjugate its people. Of course, that is what a tyrant does. However, they were also known to be a bit of a practitioner of magic. Before their death, they undergone a process known as mummification, and thus they are wrapped in bandages and effectively made undead. It appears this king has stirred once again, having made contact with a piece of the Dracolich. Pahola's piece, to be exact.
Oh, it's not Tenoyama's piece.
What do you mean?
I'm being a dick, don't I?
Oh,
Sorry, I hate to interrupt, but I really need to run to that. I'll be right back.
All
okay.
day it just starts peeing off the side of the floor.
Make a dexterity check to aim it at something. We'll wait for Aldane then.
He aims the P like right at the freaking right at Rainwall
God.
on the map.
Hope things are going good for you guys.
You know, you're going.
I'm
You
alive.
sure are going.
When Jack comes back, roll initiative.
Did we really just do that?
I wouldn't. He's friendly.
We should
No,
do it
just to
mess
fuck
with
with
him.
Jack.
Yeah,
Oh,
just to
right.
mess with him.
Give me a sec.
Just roll it, make it. Oh my god.
Do it. Do it while he's not here. Click your tokens. Oh, nice. You got 14.818. 18.18. Oh, nice. You did very well. What's a Zaratan's stat block for the sake of this joke? Oh,
Yes.
They only have a 10 dex.
In fairness, it's hard to be dexterous when you're a giant land turtle.
Yeah. That being said, this land turtle is CR 22.
Oh, we're both, huh?
You would be in this hypothetical scenario. What equivalent does a Zaratan have in CR? A Zaratan is on par with such classics as an ancient bronze dragon, an ancient green dragon, a beast known as an Illithich, which is a mind flayer made into a lich, which is what the Ulitharid would have became if it had have gotten any worse.
Ooh, good thing we stopped
Arguably,
that.
the Slayer's take did you guys a favour because you wouldn't have to deal with a CR22 creature. A lot of these other CR22 things are like named things that like have no sense of like scale with which to describe effectively. But Zaratans are technically weaker than an ancient blue and ancient silver dragon. And those are like the second strongest dragons of their respective like thing. So yeah, Zaratan, a pretty big deal. One of the Zaratan's abilities forces you to have to make a DC 25 con save.
Do we just want to make that to freak out Jack even more?
Yeah, do con save. Just I don't think any of you could even feasibly pass that.
No, I
Nope.
cannot. not unless you'd give me an automatic success with a nat 20. But I didn't even hit that, so
I wouldn't allow it because otherwise that would give you a 5% chance to beat anything.
Oh yeah, while we're on break, I just realised since I leveled up, actually I should have had it. Either way, I've actually got a higher spell attack bonus than I thought.
Yeah.
Because it actually works on my dex mod, not my intelligence mod.
Right? I thought spell attacks go off the spellcasting mod.
Not according to my document.
Oh, the paint is awful.
It is. My spell save DC works off my intelligence modifier. My spell attack modifier works off my dex mod.
I mean that's technically good because it's annoying sometimes to have to make a spell attack and then it runs off your weaker stat.
Yeah, I mean,
Like there's
yeah, and it makes sense because I'm basically painting the spell, which is more
like if
dex
you
based
guys
than
want if you guys want to
intelligence-based.
look up the spell Steel Wind Strike, it's a ranger spell, but like rangers are arguably meant to be better at dex, but it forces a spell attack, which uses a ranger's usually weaker wisdom. Steel Wind Strike reminds me of the anime thing where you draw the sword and put it away, and everyone dies.
Some
And you
Hakuro
lit-
shit.
I mean, you literally flourish your weapon, vanish like the wind, and then you hit 5 enemies and deal a big chunk of damage.
Yeah, that's Hakuro.
Damn,
That's the Brook attack.
It's
damn!
fucking
I want
Virgil
that
from
spell.
Devil May Cry.
I want that spell so
It's
much.
so cool. I don't understand why wizards should get it, really.
Well, Blade Singer.
Yeah, but like, wizards are just wizards, like, ugh.
Warlock Hexblade should get it. Absolutely.
Yeah. They should.
Arcane
Hexblade
Tricksters
is
get it,
some
which is
weird-
cool.
I mean, Arcane Tricksters are like weird.
As do Eldritch Knights. So
Arcane Tricksters in Eldritch Knights can get They can basically like, because Arcane Tricksters and Eldritch Knights normally can only pick 2 spells from 2 specific spell schools,
Mm-hmm.
but they're also allowed 1 spell outside of their school. That being said, the 2 spell lists that they both get tailor-made to suit their abilities,
Yeah.
because it means that like Arcane Tricksters can get Shadow Blade, which is like really cool. I really want to use Shadow Blade at some point. It's like a rapier that deals psychic damage, and you can throw it and it returns to you. And if you're in darkness or dim light, you deal advantage on every hit.
Yeah, one of my players in the game
Oh.
IDM, he has a rapier that deals. Well, he uses Shadow Blade in conjunction with his Hexblade.
Ah, that's cool. Yeah, Shadow Blade's sick. Like, it's really cool.
Hey Jack, roll initiative, by the way.
You back, Jack?
I don't think he's back yet.
Thought I heard.
Nope.
Wow, we really needed to go.
Must be taking the Browns to the Super Bowl.
Dude, I'm eating. It's fine. I was actually coming up for some stuff later on in the campaign as well. When you guys reach the next, like, big narrative point. That'll definitely be fun. And I actually mean genuinely fun. Like, there'll be some really cool RP.
Should be good.
In fact, one point in the campaign, I've asked him if he'd be interested, just because, like, I wanted to ask him if he's fine with the idea of campaigns being the campaign being streamed.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm actually looking at bringing in a guest character.
Oh.
Ooh.
Who will be helping you guys on a particular mission. I'm not saying which one, but I will be letting him know when you get to that point. And yeah, you'll have a friend of mine who I trust, because he was one of the first people I ever played with, and he's a cool guy.
Good.
Oh yeah, question, Gaira, how's the artwork coming?
Well, my brother's actually been quite swamped with stuff, so it's not done yet, but it will be.
Okay, no worries, just curious.
In exchange for it, I'm giving my brother Bravely Default 2. That was his price.
Is that the one with the British accents that only has like 3 British accents?
I mean, that's a lot of games, but
I
yeah.
mean, yes. Most games do not have a actually good spread of British accents.
I feel like Dragon Quest is the only franchise that like can get away with it because it's cheesy enough that like it's charming.
Give me a Scouse accent in a video game, damn it.
I know Xenoblade 2 has a Welsh accent. I know it's not Scouse, but like I always consider it like a similar-ish. I mean, hey, you get the best accent from Torrent.
I just always crack up a little bit when you just hear a super heavy Cockney accent in a video game.
Oh, what's all this then, mate?
What's all this then?
What you fucking up today, mate?
That's the thing, though.
You fucking what?
In pretty much most media, like they think that the English people have one of 2 accents, which is super posh or Cockney.
It's
Yeah.
like South London or Cockney. Like,
Oi, bruv.
Like,
they're basically like 2 London accents.
like the only time that it's different is when Sean Bean is allowed to do his normal accent, which is northern as fuck.
Which is
Yeah.
rare.
And wait, Kaido, are you considered northern?
Yeah, I'm from the north of England.
Right.
I just don't tend to have an accent that makes me sound like it.
Mm-hmm.
My GM in Friday Games, who lives in London, near the Arsenal Stadium, like, thought I was from the south. Which is like, okay?
That's interesting.
I don't know where my
I bet-
accent came from. I think it's because I grew up on a lot of American media.
Mm.
So my accent's sort of become a hodgepodge of like a lot of different things.
I've been told that when I get drunk, sometimes I slip into a bit of a Boston accent, just 'cause my dad's
Boston.
from Boston. Boston. I go to pack the car. I gotta sweep on over to Harvard Yard.
Oh God.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's gonna be fun with some of the voices that I have in mind. I've been working on my most poshest accent for a character in particular,